Right, so we're off to France in less than a week, and we know of some properties that are under 60,000 that are habitable now, ready to move into. But here's the problem. We still really don't know what we're going to do next year. We really don't. The doubts have started to creep in, and so I wanted to discuss that. We know we've got a lovely plan. We've got a really sort of idyllic sounding plan and everything else, but there's a lot of stress associated with it, and as I said, a lot of doubts. And I think for me personally, I just need to get through this stage, and I think it's going to help by actually being in France and checking that all out. I mean, I just checked this morning. We've had this holiday booked now for about just over a week or two, and I completely forgot about the GHIC certificate, which is the old E111 medical thing. We've got no travel insurance. I can't be bothered with that. I don't want to be paying out money. We're both healthy. We'll take that risk. We've got a credit card with loads of money available on it. Not that we really want to use that, but yeah, the GHICs, they take about 2 weeks to come out, so we're too late for that now. Luckily they don't require any proof because we're not going for a visa or anything like that. We're literally just going on a little 5-day trip. So irresponsible, yeah, probably, you know, I'll probably get abuse for that too, but hey ho, you know, it is what it is. Basically, I've got a foreign number for the NHS that you can phone up, and then they can you can claim back any fees for seeing a doctor. And if you have to see a doctor, it's like 30 quid or 30 euros. It's not a big deal. So, you know, what are we doubting? Well, it's really about finding out information. So there's a timeline, you know, between now and March next year when I turn 55 that we can access my pension and we can start getting the ball rolling. I can maybe stop work for a bit, get some stuff done on the house, get the house get the front of the house looking really good for all the photos and everything else, get it on the market, start to completely clear out the house, look at any storage options. We've got storage down at our boat club where we can store quite a lot of stuff, so I'm thinking petrol chainsaw, petrol hedge trimmer, you know, big things like that we'll probably need if we're clearing a property when we buy one, even when we buy one down in France. So things like that I don't really want to have to buy again. So but we've got free storage down at the boat club. Boat club costs me 70 quid a year for membership, and we do work for the club, so we get some dispensations. That's the right word. And so yeah, there's that. Then we're thinking about, you know, the visa and all this sort of thing, but there's a lot of information that we are lacking, and it's very hard, it's very conflicting on the internet. You've got Google AI spouts utter rubbish. ChatGPT can't get its maths right. There's no way I'm listening to comments on here apart from people who are actually living in France, because a lot of people with opinions, and it turns out that a lot of them are wrong. So yeah, really difficult. But we're going to the property show, the French property show in October. And we're also going to tie that in with going to a motorhome and a motorhome show at the same time, which will be really exciting, because we're now thinking, well, I'm now thinking actually we might be able to get a motorhome, which might save on cost. I've heard from a lot of people that are already touring France that, you know, it's a lot cheaper with a motorhome. There are some campsites around the UK and abroad that don't like caravans. I don't know why, maybe because it's more permanent, I really don't know. But so I've been looking at, you know, we avoided motorhomes because like the minimums that we were looking at was about 30 grand. But I looked on Auto Trader the other day, and there's a lot of private sales, and they're kind of, you know, you can get them for 10 grand and they look perfectly reasonable. But you know, do we trust it? So what I was thinking, well, actually, you know, if we got the AA or the RAC to come out and check the vehicle over, they'll do that for, I don't know, maybe 100 quid, and that would be 100 quid well invested, you know, whether you buy the thing or not, because then they can tell you, is there any dodgy oil leaks? They'll tell you immediately if there's a head gasket problem, and they'll tell you, you know, is the engine good or not good? And that's the main thing. So might be worth doing that. I'll have to look into that. I don't know whether they do that for motorhomes. I'm sure somebody somewhere does. So that may be an option. But, you know, just because I was looking at spending up to 12 grand, 15 grand on a tow vehicle, and we could probably get something for under 10 grand realistically. But you know, some people suggesting get a van to tow the caravan, then you've got a lot more storage, which is great. But I'm not overly keen on towing a caravan anyway, per se, let alone, you know, a big van and a caravan. It's a long rig, and I'm not sure I really want to do that. So, you know, getting a motorhome diesel, something that can handle itself and go up steep hills, because there's plenty of those in France, might be the way to go. And that way we can get on tour, we can take, everything with us. The reason I didn't want to do a motorhome was because you'd have to go up sticks and completely pack everything up, when you move on, or when you go to the shops or something like that. But we'd have the e-bikes, and they can go 30 miles easily in a round trip in a day without charge. So there is that. So it might be worth just relying on a motorhome. And to be honest, with the caravan, you'd have to still pack up everything, because you're only allowed to stay in a campsite for a period of time, maybe up to 28 days, maybe not even that. So the plan is a lot of information gathering over the next 7 months, isn't it? It's just going so fast, and it will fly by. I know it will. The months, the weeks are just peeling off like nobody's business. So really, information gathering before we go applying for anything, really. Information gathering and clearing out the house is the main thing that we've got to do over the next 7 months. Oh, and I just found out that next week, when we're staying in France, where we're staying is going to be absolutely tipping it down with rain from Tuesday. So we're there Saturday night, Sunday, right the way through till Thursday morning when we leave. So from Tuesday it's going to be tipping it down, so that'll be good. And I'm actually quite pleased, because you don't want to go there when it's all rosy and all lovely and sunny, because you'll get the wrong impression. You need to see it when the weather's bad as well. So that's what we're going to do. There's a lovely river going through the town where we are staying, so we'll see if that floods. It depends on how torrential the rain's going to be, but it's going to be quite windy, quite gusty, and we're going to be camping in a tent. So I don't mind tent camping in the rain. I really don't, not at all. In fact, I love the sound of rain on a tarp or rain on a tent. But yeah, it's going to be a bit muddy. We're going to have to set up a tarp porch out the front. I'll document all this on video for those that are interested, and so that we can cook underneath rather than having to be in the tent. You don't want to be cooking in the tent because it's dangerous, obviously. So this next few months is all about clearing out the house. It's going to be information gathering. It's going to be making sure my pension money is all shored up and safe-ish, or safe as it can be. I've got more than half of it now in income paying gilts, the Royal London thing that I was talking about. And then next year is, once we're ready to go, once we've sold the property, that's what I wanted to say as well. The estate agent that came round and valued the house the other day suggested that we put it on what's called a secured sale. Now, things have changed in the last 20 years since we last sold or bought a property. The traditional method of selling is still there, but there's also auctions, but the secured sale is kind of somewhere in between. It still goes out online, it goes out to all the major estate agents, but when the potential buyer is interested in the property, they put in an offer, and then when they're happy with that and accepted the offer, they put a deposit down, which goes to the agent and the kind of auctioneer, if you like, and they have to complete within 56 days, which is really suitable for us, because we want a quick sale. So we may not get as much as if we dragged it on, but once the buyer's interested and agreed to the sale, then they have to complete within 56 days, and they are very unlikely to want to lose their deposit. So that could suit us. Now, what that means is we need to be ready to go. So we need to have the motorhome or the tow car or whatever, and have the caravan all fixed up and everything else. So what we're probably going to do is maybe get a motorhome, use that from the sum of the 25% tax-free. I'm not even sure if I want to take all of that now, because I want to maximise my income. My head's all over the place, as you can probably tell, because I'm thinking, let's buy, we sell the house, we get 100k equity, that goes in the bank. We buy a property in France for 50 grand, use the other 50 grand or some of it to maybe help decorate the house and cover fees and moving in costs and things like that, and then the rest of my pension, 160,000, we've got to try and maximise that for income, so that when we go over there we can use a lot of the dividend paying or interest paying investments to cover our income, and leave the investments largely untouched. That will sort the visa out, because we can then demonstrate that the money's there in the SIP, it's withdrawable very, very quickly, so we can demonstrate for years the visa, that we can afford the visa, as well as the income and everything else. So that's where my head's going at the moment. So we're going to have a little look around. I've managed to find some of the properties that are for sale in the town where we're going to on Google Earth. So we know where all the shops are, so we're going to do a recce in the shops, we're going to do a budget, we're going to find out how much a weekly shop cost, for instance, you know, in the small village shops, and also in the larger Intermarché that's just about 10k out of town. So that'll be interesting. But yeah, this feels like it's a big step, you know. We might even get there and think, God, do you know what, I hate France. We haven't been there for 7 years, but I think we will. I think we'll love it. I don't think, how much could it have changed in 7 years? Not really, I don't think. I really don't think so. So we're going to be packing up the car. We obviously, we're camping. There's loads. I've been making a list. Oh my God, we've got a little Citroen C1 and we're going to take it down there, which will be fine. You know, I camped at a show a couple of years ago and packed up that same car with loads of camping equipment. I even had a small gazebo as well, so and that was fine. It made it. So we've got breakdown cover in the car, we've got the green card insurance all sorted out, so that's all fine. It's just the medical thing that's a bit of a mess, but I've got the number on my phone in case we needed to phone up the overseas NHS number. Also, I'm back in the caravan. I've taken the cover off the caravan because it was a struggle getting in and out of the caravan. So I started filming indoors and I couldn't get the lighting right. And I filmed something the other day which I couldn't put up because my bag's under my eyes. Oh my God, it looked like I've been in a fight, like Fight Club. It was dreadful. So I just ditched the video. I just thought, I'm going to get all sorts of, I get enough flack as it is. I thought I'll get all sorts of flack for that. So I'm hoping I don't look too rough now. I probably do. So yeah, I guess, you know, you're talking about doubts and stuff, you know, it's not really doubts, it's more about, you know, what we're going to do next year, getting everything, the timing's got to be right. Then I was thinking, oh, what if we don't sell the house? What if we don't sell it for ages? We've still got that mortgage going out each month, so I'm probably going to have to carry on working. But you know, we're both working now, so we know that we can manage the bills much better than we were able to a few months ago, so that's okay. But I don't want to string it out too long, you know. Because then it'll get to the end of season and you won't be able to sell the property, or it won't be really the right time to sell. So then, you know, we might have to wait till the following year. I don't really want to do that. We're kind of ready to go in our minds next year. So, you know, so if we do sell the place, then, you know, soon enough, before the summer or by the summer, then we'll jump in the motorhome caravan or whatever we're going to do. And then we're just going to sit back and go, you know, what now? Then we can start planning. We'll have access to the internet, we'll have laptops, we'll have all of our paperwork and, you know, essential documents with us and everything else. So then we can really, you know, just take a breather and think, right, how can we maximise our money? How can we maximise our time? What can we do here? And then we'll figure it out. And this little holiday next week is going to be a good sort of eye-opener as to whether we really want to, whether we're interested in that particular town. We're going to visit a couple of other areas as well. This is all in southwest France, so lower Normandy to Pays de la Loire, kind of southwest. So yeah, it'll be interesting. The only other issue I suppose coming up was the tax issue in France, you know, where you have to move everything over for tax-wise if you're there for more than 183 days in a year, which we will be if we apply for a visa and buy a property. We certainly will be. That'll be the plan anyway. But that's okay. You know, the threshold for, as a lot of people were asking, the threshold for the French thing is around 11,000 euros. So just under that in pounds, I think. Yeah, somewhere around in the region of 11,000 euros. So it's a little bit less than the UK income threshold, but it shouldn't be a major problem. There is the social tax as well, which is on top. That's about 9%. Not sure whether you actually pay that or not. If you're not paying tax, whether you have to pay that anyway, I don't know. You know, like a class 2 contributions kind of thing, voluntary contributions that you have for a self-employed person in the UK for national insurance. It sounds like something similar to that. But, you know, that's fine. We'll factor all that in. So I wanted to just do this video before we go to France. May do another one beforehand, and you know, if anything else crops up, any other information that I want to pass on. But otherwise, I'm going to try and report from France. There might be in a form of shorts. But I'll try and update you, if not community posts or whatever. let you know what's happening, and I'll get loads of footage down there of the area and of the properties that we're having a look at. That'll be the idea, and then I can update when we come back as well. So yeah, as you can tell, my head's all over the place at the moment, and we're trying to muddle through all this. Bearing in mind, we're not experts, we're not financial experts or anything, far from it. We're trying to learn and gather as much information as we can from all sorts of different sources. We're double checking, we're fact checking, we're doing all sorts of things like that, and I'm really looking forward to checking out the cost of living over. I know it's only a week, but that should give us a little idea of how much things cost, and I'll be noting everything down, keeping a really good record of what we're spending over there. I know it's a holiday, so we probably will eat out a couple of times, but we never eat out normally in the UK. We really don't. We might get a takeaway pizza from the supermarket that we cook ourselves or something like that, but it's very, very rare that we ever go out for anything to eat, apart from maybe chips at the side of the quay, the riverside. But that's about it. We're just used to cooking for ourselves, and that's what we'll be doing when we're camping. We're going to take some tins and we're going to go into the shops and get a few bits and pieces, and we've got some gas stoves and stuff like that. So, but yeah, it'd be really good to get an idea of how much it's likely to cost us in that particular town compared to how much shopping and groceries cost us in our current town. So in the meantime, thanks for all your support, appreciate it. Thanks for all your great messages. Thanks to Veffel Blog for your super thanks the other day as well, much appreciated. Thank you very much for all your support. So cheers for watching the channel, and I'll see you soon.